the hushed embrace of twilight, as daylight surrenders to the velvet cloak of night. I invite you to step into a sanctuary where the echoes of ancient wisdom mingle with the soft whispers of the past. We find ourselves enveloped by the comforting aroma of wood smoke that dances on the evening breeze, carrying with it the essence of crackling fires and a promise of warmth. Soft light flickers, painting dancing shadows on the walls and casting an enchanting glow upon the faces of those gathered near. The gentle murmur of voices creates a soothing symphony, weaving tales of valiant adventures and timeless lore. Laughter echoes, light and carefree as birdsong, momentarily shattering the stillness of the evening. And then, a pregnant pause descends, a moment of profound silence that speaks volumes. As eyes slowly close, each individual is transported to their own inner sanctum, a place where dreams take flight and the boundaries of reality blur. For in this tranquil haven, we've created a sanctuary where the passage of time seems to slow, where worries fade into the background, and where the tapestry of imagination comes to life. It's a realm where myths and legends unfold, where the veil between the ordinary and the extraordinary grows thin. We venture forth on journeys through enchanted landscapes, guided by ethereal lights that beckon us onward. We meet mythical creatures whose ancient wisdom holds secrets waiting to be uncovered. Each step we take, each whispered word echoes the timeless stories that have resonated through generations, keeping the spirit of adventure alive. As the flames dance and flicker, casting their spellbinding glow upon the rugged faces of our heroes, we are captivated by tales of bravery, resilience, and the indomitable spirit of exploration. With every heartbeat, the narrative weaves its magic, transporting us to a realm where danger lurks around every bend. Yet the allure of discovery beckons us forward. But this isn't merely an escape. It's a pilgrimage into the depths of our collective human experience. It's a testament to the enduring power of storytelling, the universal language that has bound humanity together since the dawn of time. These aren't just tales. They're reflections of our deepest fears, our greatest aspirations, and the uncharted territories of the human psyche. They're mirrors reflecting our own internal landscapes, guiding us through the labyrinth of emotions that shape our existence. Through the triumphs and tribulations of our characters, we confront our own demons, unraveling the complexities of courage, determination, and the relentless pursuit of understanding. In this realm, where fantasy and reality intertwine, we discover the timeless truths about ourselves and the world around us. With every page that turns, every tale that unfolds, we embark on a transformative journey, emerging with a deeper appreciation for the intricate tapestry of existence. Now let us delve into the heart of this mesmerizing world. Let the flickering flames guide our way as we immerse ourselves in the enchanting narratives that await. For here, within the hallowed halls of our imagination, anything is possible. Imagine yourself transported to a quaint Nordic village, nestled amidst snowy landscapes and frosted pines, where the chill of winter bites at exposed skin and the northern lights dance across the star-studded sky. Here, the tradition of a sacred winter sleep, known as Go Hvala, held profound significance. When the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the snow, families would retreat to their cozy homes. Inside, a warm fire crackled in the hearth, casting flickering light on weathered faces gathered close. The smell of spiced cider mingled with freshly baked bread, creating a comforting aroma that promised solace from the biting cold. As the temperature dropped and the first snowflakes of winter began to fall, the villagers would prepare for their annual practice, a ritual passed down through generations. Before retiring for the night, they would cover their beds with layers of warm furs, ensuring they were cocooned off from the freezing temperatures outside. Children would snuggle into their parents' embrace, seeking the warmth of family bonds that transcended the chill of the season. When the time was right, they would lie down on their beds, their breaths mingling with the steam rising from mugs of spiced cider held by loving hands. As the liquid warmth coursed through their veins, a sense of tranquility washed over them. The rhythmic crackle of the fire, the hushed voices sharing stories of ancient winters past, and the soft snores of sleeping loved ones blended into a soothing lullaby. With eyes closed, they surrendered to the embrace of slumber, their dreams filled with images of cozy hearths and the promise of spring's eventual return. Underneath the weight of furs, tucked away in the heart of their homes, the villagers slept soundly. The icy grip of winter had no power over them as they lay cocooned off in their beds, their bodies warmed by both love and the glowing embers of the hearth. Outside, the snow fell silently, blanketing the village in pristine white. It was as if the world itself was holding its breath, respecting the sanctity of their ancient winter sleep. In the heart of Scandinavia, amidst towering mountains and glistening fjords, lay the village of Husavik, known as the birthplace of Vikings. For centuries, the people of Husavik had revered sleep, considering it a sacred practice essential to their physical and spiritual well-being. Their deep reverence for sleep stemmed from their belief that it was during slumber that the soul embarked on a journey to the ethereal realms. There, it would reunite with ancestral spirits, seeking guidance and strength to navigate the challenges of the waking world. One fateful night, as a blizzard raged outside, shaking the sturdy Viking homes, a young woman named Astrid found herself wide awake. Restless and troubled by a haunting dream, she couldn't shake off a premonition of danger looming over her village. As the storm intensified, Astrid's unease grew. Fear threatened to consume her, whispering insidious doubts about the safety of her slumbering loved ones. Unable to bear the torment of uncertainty, she decided to venture out into the raging blizzard. She bundled herself in layers of warm furs, shielding her body against the biting wind and driving snow. Stepping out into the storm, Astrid felt its full force, the icy flakes stinging her skin, the howling wind threatening to knock her off her feet. Yet she pressed on, her determination to protect her community fueling her steps. As she braved the elements, Astrid's thoughts raced. She envisioned her peaceful village, the cozy homes with families nestled inside, and a surge of protective instinct propelled her forward. Suddenly, a glimmer of light pierced the swirling snow. Spotting a familiar landmark, Astrid's spirits lifted. It was the longhouse of the village elder, a beacon of wisdom and strength. Rushing to the door, she pounded on it with a fury, desperate to seek shelter and share her troubling premonition. The door creaked open, revealing the weathered face of the village elder. His eyes, filled with years of wisdom and understanding, held a calmness that soothed Astrid's frayed nerves. He listened intently as she poured out her fears, the urgency in her voice echoing the storm's relentless roar. When Astrid finished, a solemn expression settled on the elder's face. He understood the weight of her dream, the call to action it demanded. Together, they devised a plan. The elder, drawing upon his vast knowledge of ancient customs, knew that their traditions held the key to overcoming this impending danger. He rallied the able-bodied villagers, sharing Astrid's dream and outlining the course of action. United by their faith in their heritage and driven by Astrid's courage, the Vikings sprang into action. Working swiftly but methodically, they reinforced their homes, ensuring they could withstand the wrath of the blizzard. As the storm continued to rage outside, the villagers found solace in their shared purpose, their voices rising in unison as they sang ancient songs of resilience and strength. When the preparations were complete, they returned to their homes, each carrying the weight of their ancestors' traditions upon their shoulders. That night, as the wind howled and the snow swirled, the Vikings of Husavik slept soundly. Their dreams were filled with visions of their ancestors, their protectors, standing guard over them. The blizzard raged throughout the night, testing the strength of their homes and the depth of their convictions. But as the first rays of sunlight pierced through the darkness, the storm began to subside, and when the sun finally broke through the clouds, casting its golden light upon a snow-covered Husavik, the villagers emerged from their homes to a sight both awe-inspiring and humbling. The blizzard had transformed their world into a wonderland of sparkling white, the wind-sculpted snowdrifts forming intricate patterns across the landscape. A profound sense of unity and gratitude washed over them as they surveyed the damage caused by the storm. Homes had been lost, but not their spirit. They had endured the test of the elements, their bond strengthened by their shared struggle. In the aftermath of the storm, the villagers of Husavik rebuilt their lives, drawing strength from their cultural heritage and the memory of their ancestors, who had faced countless storms before them. They honored Astrid's courage, recognizing that her restlessness had saved them from potential disaster. From that day forward, their respect for sleep deepened, knowing that within its embrace lay not only rest, but also a connection to the unseen forces that shaped their destiny. If you're intrigued by the world of Norse mythology and Viking culture, consider joining a community dedicated to these fascinating topics. You'll find kindred spirits eager to share their knowledge and passion. Share your own insights, ask questions, and embark on a journey of discovery alongside fellow enthusiasts. Together, you can explore the rich tapestry of Norse lore, Viking history, and the enduring legacy they've left on our world. Welcome to this episode of Sleep Well, a bedtime story for the modern world. The night deepens now, and somewhere, beyond time and frost, a longhouse slumbers under a woolen sky. You are there again, still wrapped in your dreams, still warm by the fire's hum. Let the hush hold you. Let your mind drift gently forward as we return to our story of slumber and stars, and why those who lived by the fjords slept so soundly, so wisely, so well. Chapter 1. When night fell on the fjord, the northern lights bloomed. Scarlet, green, and violet shadows stretched and swirled like phantoms across the ice. To the people of Vesterheim, who farmed and fished by day and huddled by the hearth by night, the colors did not startle. They were expected. Nature was a story they knew by heart, and its chapters turned with the tides. The nights were theirs. After the salmon were stored, after the nets were mended, after the plows were housed, after the goats were penned, when twilight deepened into indigo and starlight dusted the snow, the Nord rejoiced. Ah, now the night belongs to us. They'd sing and dance and play. When the darkness gave way to the first glimmerings of dawn, they would say, "Now, the morning is ours." The whole 24 hours were filled with tasks. They lived with the sun, but they reveled in the moon. For the Nord, the night was more than half the day. It was sacred time. It was family time. It was storytelling time. It was dream time. It was rest time. And most importantly, it was connection time. Chapter 2. The hearth that warmed your hands. The longhouse at Vesterheim glowed with the soft hues of lamp oil. Its timbers were old, its floors packed earth, its walls woven wattles and daub, its roof thick thatch. Yet when snow fell and winds bit, the longhouse held warmth like a bird's tucked wing. At its center, the hearth rumbled, stoked not by bellows or drafts, but by the very hearts of those within. Women stirred stew, their laughter mingling with the sizzle. Men carved or sang or read runes aloud. Children nestled with their parents, listening to the symphony of home. Even the animals sought refuge here, their breaths fogging the air like spirits. The longhouse was more than shelter. It was solace. It was community. It was love made visible in the shared space. And this, too, was a lullaby. Chapter 3. Fur and feather blankets. The chill of the fjord could bite through the warmest cloak. So layering was a Norse wisdom. First came the foundation, sturdy and close to the skin, a leather jerkin reinforced with linen. Then came wool, the finer weaves for women, the thicker for men. Over that, sometimes, went padded vests of goose down, feathers caught in layers of linen, keeping out the worst of the cold. And when indoors, or at feast, fur at its softness and luxury. Fox, squirrel, bear, badger, rabbit, dyed or natural, worn as robes or cloaks. Even the finest garments, though, were nothing without fit and finish. Every stitch was made to last, because every stitch was also a prayer. May your burden be light. May your journey be safe. May your heart be warm. What you wear becomes a part of you. Chapter 4. The ritual of telling the clock on the wall ticked. Seconds crawled by. Minutes ticked on. Now set that down. Stop tapping your foot. Stop fidgeting. Stop staring at the screen. Turn off the screen. Close your eyes. Let the minutes melt into seconds. Melt into stillness. In the time before alarm clocks, the Nord relied on a gentler alarm, the rising sun. While the south slept late into the soft light, the Nord's day began at first glimmer. Sigrun, however, never woke with the sun. Her eyelids fluttered open with the telling of tales. Each morning, the village elders would gather the young ones for the saga hour. Runa, a weaver with hair like silver thread, would weave stories of gods and heroes, of trolls and giants, of love and loss. The stories changed with the seasons, mirroring the ebb and flow of nature. But always, always they held truths that cut deeper than steel and warmed better than any hearth. The tales were a ritual, a sunrise ceremony that unfolded within the womb of slumber. It was as if Runa wove the threads of the stories so tightly, so skillfully, that their tapestries became the fabric of Sigrun's dreams. Chapter 5. Dreams beneath the aurora. The night deepened now, and somewhere, beyond time and frost, a longhouse slumbers under a woolen sky. You are there again, still wrapped in your dreams, still warm by the fire's hum. Let the hush hold you. Let your mind drift gently forward. As we return to our story of slumber and stars, and why those who lived by the fjords slept so soundly, so wisely, so well. Chapter 6. The weather that rocked you to sleep outside. The fjord wind whispered lullabies. The Norse didn't fear the winters. Hush, it was a comfort. The weight of snow on the roof made a soft creaking above, and the occasional thump of snow sliding down the slope was like the slow shifting of a great, dozing animal. The sound was not a threat, it was rhythm, like a cradle rocking with the earth. The wind, especially, was beloved. They called it the Kveldsvinder, the evening wind. It crept down the valleys like a mother tucking her children into bed. It rustled the wooden chimes hanging near the door, stirred the pine boughs tucked between rafters for protection, and wrapped itself around the longhouse like a shawl. To modern ears, these sounds might seem strange, unquiet. But to those of Vesterherm, they were part of the lullaby of life. It was said that those who sleep with the wind in their ears wake stronger, more attuned to the whispers of nature. Erling had even built their longhouse to face the wind, not away from it, because the wind was not enemy with story, and stories, like dreams, lull you deeper into sleep. Chapter 7. Furs, feathers, and firelight. Now imagine your body wrapped in layers of thick reindeer hide, your feet snug in felted wool, and a pillow made not of foam, but of goose down, sewn into sealskin. The people of the north did not have mattresses as we do today, but their beds were no less a haven. The Norse sleeping nests were low and tucked into corners, near the warmest stones, lined with thick moss and soft hay, layered with pelts and hides. Children often slept beside one another, sharing warmth and whispering secrets, until one faded off mid-sentence. Elders were given the warmest spots, near the hearth, their sleep watched over with quiet reverence. And always, there was fire. No roaring, no, that would be wasteful. The hearth was kept low and gentle, its light dancing across the timber walls, flickering like breath. The flames whispered old tales to those who hadn't quite fallen asleep, their golden tongues licking the stones as if to say, "Rest now, all is well. The night is long, and you are safe." Chapter 8. Herbs, humors, and healing sleep in the back of the longhouse. In a little nook wrapped in linen, hung bundles of herbs, lavender, thyme, mugwort, and motherwort, not just for medicine, but for dreams. The village herbwife, old Astrid, had taught Sigrun the art of herbal rest. She would burn juniper for cleansing, scatter chamomile along the bedding, tuck sprigs of yarrow under pillows to ward off bad dreams. They believed that certain herbs opened doorways in the sleep mind, that some made dreams lighter, others deeper, and some protected against visitations from restless spirits. Before each night's rest, Sigrun would steep a warm broth of valerian root and honey, stirring slowly, whispering charms into the steam. The children drank with sleepy eyes, the heat sinking into their bellies like the sun into soil. There was no melatonin, no clocks, no pills, just earth, time, and care. Sleep came not from trying but from surrendering. And the Norse, knew how to surrender well. Chapter 9. The Storyteller's Hour. And then came the sacred hour, the hour of stories. No matter how long the day, how cold the air, or how tired the limbs, no one in Vesterheim would sleep without the telling of tales. This was the gift of the saga bearers, the old ones who carried the fire of memory. Tonight, it was old Ragnar's turn. His beard was white as snow hair, his eyes foggy with age, but his voice, it still wrapped the room like a song. He leaned forward on his carved staff and began, softly. In the land where the ice giants roam, where stars wear helmets and the moon is carved from silver bone, there sailed a dreamer named Sten, who could speak to the sea. The children's eyes widened. Even the adults stilled their hands. The tales weren't just entertainment. They were anchors. To listen was to remember who you were. And to sleep afterward was to carry the story into your dreams. Ragnar's voice dropped lower, like gravel under moss, as he reached the end. And so, beneath the polar lights, with sword in hand and breath like fog, he laid his head upon the sky and slept the sleep of gods. No one clapped, no one spoke. Just a fire crackled, and one by one, like candles snuffed in a row, they fell into sleep. Chapter 10. The midnight pause. Some hours later, the longhouse stirred. Soft footsteps, a log added to the fire, a whisper between lovers. This was the first waking, the gap between the two sleeps, where the village moved, not with haste, but with hush. It was a moment of still communion, not with others but with self. Sigrun sat with her cup of warm mead, watching the embers breathe. She listened to her own heartbeat, listened to the walls creak, felt the pulse of something deeper than time. Outside, the aurora borealis shimmered over the fjord, like a ghost's silk gown. Erling, still half asleep, carved a new charm from driftwood. His blade moved slowly, rhythmically, his eyes glazed with the softness of the hour. This was not a time to do. It was a time to be. And when the fire settled low again, when the last sigh of the wind brushed the wall, they returned to their furs. Sleep welcomed them back like an old friend. Chapter 11. The silence between stars. The second sleep was deeper. Dreams now were strange and formless, full of color, shadow, flight. Sigrun dreamed of standing on the prow of a ship made of clouds. Canute dreamed of running across a field of wolves, the moon in his hands. And all around them, the longhouse murmured and breathed and held. No light disturbed their rhythm. No bells, no buzzing. The Norse let the sky tell time, and when the sky said sleep, they obeyed. The stars above, to them, were not just points of light, they were guardians, old souls, watching, whispering. It was said that when a child slept well, the stars grew brighter, and tonight they burned like fireflies in the snow. Now, as the last embers fade and the northern lights begin their slow fade into the morning mist, we come to the end of our story. May the dreams you dream beneath the watchful stars be as peaceful as those of Vesterheim. May you wake feeling as reborn as the sun, and may the magic of the night linger in your heart until the next time the stars align. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please show your support and share the Sleep Well universe with others. Rest well. This is an excerpt from my book, The Sleep Book. Welcome back, dreamer. You are still wrapped in warmth, still drifting among the hearth-lit shadows of a Norse night. Feel the fire's low glow behind your eyelids. Hear the distant hush of snow falling against the longhouse roof. Let your limbs rest heavy in the cradle of this ancient world. Our story sails onward through sleeping fjords and timeless dreams, into the quietest hours of the Viking North, where peace was a way of life and sleep was sacred. Chapter 12. When the gods slept to Vestarm, the people believed that even the gods slept. During the deep midwinter, when the sun lingered just below the horizon and the days were more twilight than day, they whispered that Odin himself would close his one eye and dream the dreams of all men. Freya, goddess of love, was said to walk unseen among sleepers, stroking their temples and coaxing them into tender visions. Thor's hammer would rest beside his bed of stone, quiet as snow, while even Loki's fire dimmed low. So the Norse imitated the divine. During Jolablot, the midwinter feast, they honored the stillness not with noise, but with quiet rituals. a cup of warm goat's milk left by the bed for the spirits, holly tucked into the bedpost, a rune carved into the hearthstone for deep sleep, and then silence. The longhouse would dim until only the breath of fire and frost remained. Even the animals fell into deeper slumber. During chickens huddled tighter, cows made less sound. The world itself seemed to hold its breath, and in that breath, sleep came like snowfall, soft, certain, whole. Chapter 13. The Sleep Rites of the Shield Maidens. Not all dreams in the north were gentle. Some carried the weight of sword and storm. Among the shield maidens of the fjord lands, those warrior women who trained not only their arms, but their mind. Sleep was a kind of training, a sharpening of the soul. Thyra, the eldest shield maiden of Vestrum, taught the girls that to sleep poorly was to fight poorly, that a restless mind would dull a blade faster than rust. Her sleep rituals were precise. Each night, before bedding down on her roll of bare hide, she would wash her hands in cold water. Not to clean, but to remember the chill of battle. Then she'd lie flat, eyes closed, breathing deep, until the silence around her matched the silence within. The shield maidens learned dream mapping, holding the image of their next goal or challenge in their mind before sleep, and in dreams, they would spar, speak to their ancestors, or seek signs in the shape of clouds or fire. Sleep was not retreat, it was preparation. But even warriors need rest. And when their armor was hung, and their swords placed gently beside their furs, they too surrendered to softness, to darkness, to dreams spun by quiet gods. Chapter 14. Animal Sleep. Forest Dreams outside the longhouse. Deeper into the forested edge of the village, the rhythms of the animal world guided sleep as much as fire or food. Foxes curled beneath pine roots. Bears hibernated in their mossy dens. And wolves, distant but ever-present, howled their lullabies into the sky notes, so mournful they wrapped the night in velvet sorrow. But in the village, the animals were closer. Each family kept animals, goats, pigs, sheep who often shared the warmth of the home. Their soft bleats and gentle snorts were part of the night's music. A child would fall asleep to the sound of a goat shifting in straw, or the low rumble of a cow chewing cud. Sigrun once said to her youngest, "The animals sleep so well because they know no clocks. They wake when the sky tells them to, and they rest when the world grows quiet. Be like them. Close your thoughts. Breathe from your belly. Let the dark hold you." The child would nod, yawn, and drift. The Norse understood sleep was not human alone. It belonged to the land, to beasts, to tree. And when you slept in rhythm with all of life, your soul grew quieter. Chapter 15. No room for fear. Fear was the thief of sleep. In a world of storms, hunger, and war, you might imagine fear ran rampant. But the Norse did not let it nest in their homes. They believed that a home filled with fear would leak at the seams, letting in frost, spirits, and sickness. So they guarded their sleep with care. Before bedding down, they told stories of bravery, not doom. They burned birch bark with protective runes carved into it. They spoke aloud any worries they carried, placing them into the fire or whispering them into the fur of the family dog. "Let the land carry it," Sigrun would say. "Let the wind take it from your chest." Children were never sent to bed afraid. Instead, they were comforted, sung to, touched with warmth and assurance. Their fears were not dismissed, but gently lifted, like a splinter pulled from skin. And in that safety, their minds could unfurl. Even in war times, sleep was prioritized. A rested warrior fought better. A rested farmer saw the signs in the fields. A rested mother heard her babies cry more quickly. Fear was not banished, it was calmed. And in that calm, true sleep returned. Chapter 16. The tides of morning dawn came slowly in Vesterheim. There were no alarms, no sudden lights. The sky would brighten like a breath held long, then released. Birdsong came first, then the shifting of fire coals, then the slow sounds of waking bodies stretching, yawning, moving in rhythm with the day. Sigrun always woke first. She would hum quietly as she rekindled the fire, the tune older than her grandmother's grandmother. Canute would stir next, his hand still clutching a carved raven, the remnants of dreams still flickering in his lashes. The second waking was as sacred as the first sleep. No one rushed. The first hour of the day was for warmth, for breaking bread, for sharing dreams. It was believed that a dream spoken aloud before breakfast would stay with Ewood, protect or guide or heal. And so, one by one, the family would speak. I dreamed of the sea again. I walked with grandfather near a waterfall. There was a bear with golden eyes. I followed it into light. And the day would begin, not with worry, but with wonder. Now, let us close our eyes, as the Norse families did, and share our dreams with the morning. What did you see? What did you feel? What guidance came to you in the quiet hours before the sun? Share with me. If you are comfortable, if not, that is also okay. Your dreams are yours alone. When we dreamt together last, we explored the Japanese art of sleeping with the stars. We learned about the Utoria lifestyle and its peaceful approach to sleep and balance. Now we journey to the frozen landscapes of Scandinavia, where the Vikings, yes, those fierce seafarers, found strength and wisdom in the stillness of sleep. I hope you are enjoying this series. If you have a culture or tradition you would like to see explored, please leave it in the comments below. Who knows? We may sail to it in a future episode. And if you are ready to dream a little more, before we part ways, I invite you to explore these related videos. Thank you for sleeping with me tonight. May your dreams be filled with the magic of the North and the wonder of shared stories. Sweet dreams. From the ashes of the dying day, the embers glow. A lullaby of red in the gathering snow. Let your eyelids grow heavy. Breathe in the scents of home and hearth. Your furs are warm. The longhouse, safe. Outside, the blizzard rages. Within, the fire burns bright. And above, the old stories unfold in the fading light. Are you listening? Let my voice soothe your waking dreams. Hold fast to your breath, traveler. Let it slow, let it fall. Still, slower, still. Now, breathe it in, breathe it out. Let the words wash over you, wrap you about. Within this northern longhouse, every hour weaves its tale. From the rising sun to the first falling snow, you've walked with us through battles hard and hunts, where courage sang and frostbitten fingers clutched, through feasts of mead and tales of old, where laughter boomed and sagas were told. Now, the day is done, the feast is cold, the ale is drained, the songs grown old. Gather close, dear traveler. This is hallowed ground, where sleep is not just night, but a sacred sound. Settle into the skins, the furs, the wood. Here the veil grows thin, here the old ones understood. Dreams are pathways where the soul takes flight. Listen now, while shadows dance in fading firelight. Feel the weight of furs upon your weary frame. Let the scent of wood smoke weave its calming game. What secrets do these halls contain? What whispers echo, soft as falling rain? And as the wind begins its mournful song, let the rhythm lull you, help you belong. We are travelers, yes, but here our journey ends. Close your eyes, and in this haven, make amends. Forgive the daylight, for it, too, must go. Embrace the darkness, where the spirit can flow. Your breath is soft, your muscles slow. The longhouse watches, holding all you know. It gathers your memories, both bitter and sweet, and lays them gently at your dreaming feet. All that you've gathered, all that you've found, can rest now, for peace and solace have been crowned. Outside, the world is stark and wild, but here, a single tear can be wiped and reconciled. Here, laughter echoes, loud and long. The ghosts of joy in this hall belong. Your face is turned, your lashes low. Let the silence sing, and let the firelight glow. Upon your brow, the stress recedes, no longer bound by anxious needs. Deep in the heart of this frozen land, dreams take root and spread their wings so grand. With every breath, you drift away. Your spirit flies while shadows play. Vesterheim, the house of evening star, bids you welcome to realms afar, where ancient magic lingers in every stone, and spirits of slumber peacefully roam. The past is a whisper, the future unknown, but in this moment, you are truly home. And as the fire starts to fade and die, and embers softly glow up in the sky, feel the sleep pull you under its spell, like an endless story that is yet to be told. Drift away, dear traveler, let your worries cease. In the stillness of night, find your promised peace. Sleep has been a constant since time began. Even the gods embraced its calming span. Thor found solace after battles won, and Odin dreamt wisdom, mystery spun. Loki, too, in slumber's embrace, crafted new schemes with a sly, knowing grace. Freya dreamed of love and beauty untold. Balder dreamt of light, brave and bold. Tyr dreamt of valor, keen and bright. All found respite in the peaceful night. Sleep is a refuge, a pause, a release, a sacred embrace that brings sweet release. The heartbeat of earth, the pulse of the sky, a symphony of silence where spirits fly. Now let us share in this timeless delight, and in the stillness of night, find our light. In the depths of winter, when nights are long, and stars shimmer brightly, casting their song, our ancestors sought solace in dreams profound. They wove spells and rituals, their faith astound. Yuletide bonfires, their flames reaching high, to guide their spirits as they slept in the sky. Ancient tales whispered from soul to soul, of Krampus and Perkton taking their toll. Fearsome creatures of legend and lore, roaming the darkness, knocking on doors. Some dreamt of voyages to lands far and wide, on ships that sailed on oceans of time's tide. They journeyed through realms both wondrous and strange, seeking adventure forever to range. Sailors dreamed of waves and winds untamed, of salty seas and treasures unclaimed. Their ships would glide through mists and through spray, guided by starlight on their dreaming way. Lovers dreamt of passion and hearts entwined, of stolen glances and vows intertwined. Whispers of longing, touches so light, woven in dreams through the silent night. Dreamers tell of encounters divine, with elves and dwarves, where magic and enchanting forests, and waterfalls bright, where mystical beings danced in the pale moonlight. Heroes dreamt of quests, their courage ablaze, of battles fought and victories won in a daze. Their swords flashed brightly, their shields stood strong, as they battled foes that did them wrong. Dreamers also spoke of creatures of fright, wolves with eyes glowing, haunting the night. Serpents with scales that glistened like jet, slithering through shadows, their presence a threat. Through dreams, people traveled, their spirits took flight, over mountains and valleys, to realms of pure light. They flew with swans, soaring high above, or raced with reindeer across plains of snow. They swam with dolphins in waters serene, or roamed with bears through forests, a mystical scene. They met with giants, some kind, some severe, and bargained with trolls who lived in caves of cheer. Chapter 23. The Last Snowfall. Let me tell you one last tale, one final sight. Settle in close, for the night is deep, and watch as the last snowflakes fall and creep. Across the window, past the firelight gleam, they gather and glisten like a waking dream. Hear the wind's hushed lullaby, softly it sighs as the branches sway. See the frost-etched patterns on pane, a silent design in the falling rain. Within the longhouse, the embers glow, and shadows dance with the flames so low. Wrapped in furs, we watch the night, as the snow falls soft, pure and white. A blanket of peace on the world below, a hush descends as the flakes fall slow. Dreams take flight on wings of white, and in the silence, the soul finds its light. Traveler, you are home tonight, in this haven of peace, where dreams ignite. Rest now, dream deep, and let your spirit soar, for in this moment, there's nothing to explore. Just a fire's soft glow, and the falling snow, where peace resides and the true self can grow. Sleep well, for dawn will come anew. But for now, let the night's embrace envelop you. Welcome back to my channel. I'm thrilled to be back with another installment of Viking Sleep Lore, a series where we explore how our ancestors slept, why they slept, and what happened to them when they went to sleep. Tonight, we will examine chapters 23 through 28 of the book The Viking Spirit by John L.B.R. Snorri. as usual, I'll put the chapter numbers on the screen so you can follow along at home if you wish. If you'd like to grab a copy for yourself, you can find the book online or at your local library. Now, let's get started. Take another breath. Let it fall from your chest like snow, sliding from the roof of a longhouse. Soften your brow. Let your thoughts loosen like threads pulled gently from a spindle. You're still wrapped in fur and pine-sap dreams. Still safe in the night of Vestahim. The world sleeps around you, and the story carries on. Slow, soft, winding like a river in moonlight. How the children slept. The youngest among the Norse knew no alarms, no bedtime battles, no restless tossing beneath blinking screens. Children in Vestarum grew up with sleep woven into the fabric of daily life, present in story, meal, ritual, and rhythm. In the evening, the little ones would gather in what was called the barn crock, the children's corner of the longhouse. Here, tucked near the warmer rear wall, they'd lie curled like kittens beneath furs and woven wool. They often fell asleep listening to stories, whispered not to entertain, but to soothe. There were tales of sea serpents who guarded sleeping islands, of sky wolves that chased the sun each morning and napped in caves by night, of fire sprites who braided dream threads for good children as they slept. Each tale had a cadence like a lullaby, slow, rhythmic, calming, and always, the end was gentle. And so she closed her eyes, and the mountain slept, and the wind grew quiet, and the stars kept watch. Sleep wasn't feared. It wasn't a punishment. It was magic. And children welcomed it like a favorite blanket returned each night. Communal warmth and the bond of breath to sleep in a Norse longhouse was not a solitary act. It was a communal weaving of breath and warmth. Unlike today's isolated bedrooms and closed doors, most families shared sleeping spaces. Husbands, wives, children, elders, and even the dog, curled beneath shared pelts, shoulder to shoulder. There was a natural rhythm to it. One breath in, another out, one turning over, one sigh, and all would shift in unconscious harmony, like a flock of birds sleeping in a nest. Sleep was not seen as vulnerable. It was a circle of safety. Even the coldest nights felt warm when bodies shared heat and heartbeat. There was always someone near, always a warmth to lean into. This closeness built something more than comfort. It built peace, the kind of peace that lets a body unclench, lets a soul exhale. A modern heart might find it strange, this lack of solitude, but to them, it was belonging. And belonging made the softest bed of all. Sleeping under the open sky, there were nights, especially in spring or summer, when some chose to sleep outside under the vast bowl of the northern sky. Farmers guarding lambing sheep, or fishermen camped near riverbanks, would lie beneath wool blankets in the Milky Way. But even this was not seen as roughing it. It was a gift. To sleep beneath the sky was to listen more closely, to let the cool wind remind you of your body, to watch stars wheel above you until your eyes closed naturally, gently. Some built sovbyr, simple sleeping platforms made from willow and fir, elevated just above the ground. They'd be lined with moss and wrapped in woven cloths. A leather flap might be drawn overhead if it rained. It was said the gods slept beneath the stars, and to do so yourself was a way to walk in their path. Many elders claimed their best dreams came outdoors, more vivid, more wise. And so each summer, children would beg for a sky night, a night to fall asleep watching the aurora curl like green fire above the world. And always, they woke smiling. Sleeping and the role of sleep in healing the Norse were no strangers to injury, be it from blade, frost, or toil. And yet, before poultices or prayers, before chanting or saves, came the healer's most constant command: let them sleep. Sleep was the first medicine. It was believed that the spirit, called Hugar, could mend the body when undisturbed. That wounds healed fastest when the mind dreamed. Old Astrid, the healer, would brew teas of willow bark and linden blossom, but she always whispered, "This is only half the cure. The rest comes in the dark." She tended her patients in low light, wrapped them in layers, and allowed silence to settle. No bustling, no talking, just warmth, herbs, and time. Wounds that refused to close in noise would often mend in sleep. And for illness of the mind, grief, fear, heartbreak, she recommended dream walks, a night of extended sleep with herbs to deepen the visions. Dreams, she said, are how the soul finds its shoes again. And so sleep was not avoidance. It was restoration. It was rebirth in the space between stars. How dreams became direction when choices loomed. Marriage, voyage, war. The people of Vesterem would turn not only to elders, nor priests, but to sleep. They believed answers could come in dreams. A person seeking guidance would often sleep with a token beneath their head, a stone from the shore, a twig from the sacred ash, or a thread from the sleeve of one they loved. They would sleep long, uninterrupted, and in the morning they would share their dreams aloud. I saw a bird circle me 3 times. I found a doorway in the side of a tree. I sat on a boat that never touched water. The elders would listen and help read the symbols, but often the dreamer knew the meaning themselves. To the Norse, dreams were the whisper of fate, a language of the self and the sacred, blending in shadow. It was not superstition. It was trust. Trust that sleep held truths the day could not reach. Final sleep. In the bed of the dead, even death was seen as a kind of sleep. When someone passed, they were laid out not in fear, but in softness, cleaned gently, eyes closed, a fur placed beneath their head, a coin upon their chest for the ferryman. Their bed became sacred, candles were lit, herbs burned, songs whispered. It was believed the soul lingered briefly, hovering in the rafters like smoke, and that if the room was quiet, if the body was undisturbed, the soul could find its way more easily. Children were taught not to weep loudly near the dead. Instead, they were told, sleep has called them home. And so, even in grief, there was sleep, stillness, a return. Some were buried with dream tokens, a lock of hair, a carved wooden swan. The dreams of the dead, they said, became part of the wind. And if you listened carefully on certain nights, you could hear them, not with ears, but with your sleeping heart. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like and consider subscribing. If you'd like to learn more about Viking history, archaeology, or culture, check out the rest of my content. Until next time, may your dreams be filled with magic, and may you wake with the strength of the North in your soul. Thanks. Bye. So welcome back, Cravers. This is the final chapter of our 4th season. And tonight, we're going to weave ourselves awake. For the people of Vesterhem, sleep held more than just rest. It held magic, memories, messages from the gods, maybe even glimpses of lives past and future. Oh, it was a great gift to know how to hear the language of slumber. And yet, we don't have to go back in history to do this. We can look to ourselves right now. Can you feel it? How your chest rises and falls, slows and deepens, finds its own unerringly perfect pace. Yes, let that be your guide. Let the weight of the world slip gently off your shoulders. You are not meant to carry it here. There is no hurry, no judgment, no expectation. Just the stillness of the northern dark and the cradle of a story that hums soft as breath. Now, what did sleep look like for the folks of Vesterhem? Well, first, it looked to nature. They didn't use clocks, see, but followed the sun, the moon, the tides, the seasons. Their sleep followed along. It was flexible, like water, flowing into the curves of the day. In the long days of summer, when night was shy, sleep would wait a while, arriving only when the wind hushed, when the sheep settled in the fields, when the last spoonful of barley stew had gone down. Even then, sleep didn't hurry. It slipped in slowly, whispering good night to the world. And in winter, when darkness ruled, sleep might linger until late morning, lingering lovingly, wrapped in the deep velvet of night for 10 or 12 hours. When the Viking Age folks slept, they didn't worry about things like sleep hygiene. They just lived it. No screens to trick the eye, no caffeine to confuse the heart. Light faded naturally, oil lamps dimmed, hearths cooled, voices softened. The babies fell asleep to the murmur of the household, the parents, the animals, and so did the elders. Time for them wasn't a grid, but a circle, a sacred loop. Sleep was part of that loop, arriving when the body whispered, now, and leaving when the mind had mended. Not only did they live with nature's rhythm, they lived in nature's lullaby. The Norse weren't afraid of sounds. They welcomed them as friends. Sleep in Vesterham was a gentle song, the wind combing through grass roofs, rain pattering on leather walls, crackling from hearth embers, sinking into ash, the shifting breaths of those you loved nearby. Never feared. They were lullabies, natural rhythms that coaxed the body toward surrender. Even the howls of distant wolves became part of the music of rest, an echo that reminded them they were home and safe and warm. Children would often drift off counting those sounds. 1 crackle, 2 sighs, 3 whispers, 4 raindrops, and so the night wasn't empty. It was full of presence, of motion, of comfort, not sterile silence, but soft invitation. In that gentle song, they also kept their dreams safe. See, they thought dreams were portals, openings between worlds, and they took care to shield those crossings. So before sleep, many families did little protective acts, a charm carved into the bedpost, a sprig of juniper or yarrow tucked beneath the pillow, a whispered blessing, such as let no drogger pass, nor shadow feed, let Freya guard the dreamer's need. Children were taught to tuck one hand beneath their cheek, one over their heart, to keep the spirit anchored during dreams. The elders wore simple wrist straps with knot patterns meant to bind the self while the soul wandered. And if a nightmare came, it wasn't pushed away or ignored. It was recorded, spoken aloud at dawn, and then washed away with snow, water, or ashes, never to be feared again. Sleep was sacred, yes, but it was also vulnerable. And so they honored it, shielded it like a temple, blessed it like a fire. And then there were the nights when sleep took a special turn. The folks of Vestarm didn't expect to sleep all night in one stretch. In fact, waking in the middle of the night was seen as normal, even desirable. They called it Natavila, the night's rest, divided. After 4 or 5 hours of sleep, many would naturally wake for a while in the deepest part of the night. Not in fear, not in frustration, but in peace. They might stoke the fire, step outside to breathe the stars, whisper with a loved one, pray, dream with eyes wide open. Some even believed this time was when the gods themselves walked quietly through the world. Poets composed verses then, midwives whispered secrets, lovers traced fingertips in the dark. And after an hour, sleep returned, gentler, deeper, like a second tide washing in. This 2-part sleep was seen not as broken, but complete. 2 halves of a full moon, 2 wings of a raven. Each morning they would greet the sun with a song. A stavum, that's what they called it. A simple melody passed down from the old days. Its notes floated out across the fjords and fields, echoing the joy of new life. If you want to try singing it, here's how it goes. Feel your chest rise and fall. Rise and fall. Oh, let the sun climb higher, higher, higher. Feel your chest rise and fall. Rise and fall. Oh, let the sun climb higher, higher, higher. Feel your chest rise and fall. Rise and fall. Oh, let the sun climb higher, higher, higher. Feel your chest rise and fall. Rise and fall. Oh, let the sun climb higher, higher, higher. Then there was the hearth. You already heard me talk about the hearth a lot. It wasn't just for cooking or light. It was the center of their world. It held memories. It marked seasons. It welcomed gods. The Norse believed the hearth had a spirit of its own. A wisp of a woman named Lynn. She watched over those who made their homes. At night, the family would say their prayers near the hearth, asking Lynn to guard their sleep. And she did. Embers were banked carefully beneath ash, glowing like the heart of a sleeping bear. It gave off a soft warmth, a slow rhythm. Some said it pulsed in time with the house itself. To fall asleep near the hearth was to feel held, watched over, cradled. Mothers would tell their children that the flame spirits watched them sleep, that if they listened carefully, they could hear the coals breathe, hoo, hoo, hoo. And in this steady breath, children and adults alike found ease, just as you may now, breathing with the story, with the fire, with yourself. The hearth whispered, rest now, all is tended. Rest now, the watch is mine. And so the house slept. There were nights when the whole village slept, especially during winters. It seemed the whole world hushed. No footsteps, no animal cries, no chopping, no voices, just stillness. The folks of Vesterham knew these nights well. They accepted them, prepared for them. They cleaned their spaces, bathed their bodies, slept with open hearts. Outside, the snow pressed thick against the walls. Inside, the heat hummed low, and within each home, breath curled into the air like incense. Even the dogs slept deeply. Even the ravens stayed silent. In these hours, the Norse believed the veil between worlds thinned, not in a frightening way, but a wondrous one. It was said you could dream of ancestors, of unborn grandchildren, of gods in the shape of birds. Those who woke briefly might see things others never did. A glint at the corner of vision, a hand reaching in a dream, a name whispered in the dark that soothed rather than startled. The village didn't fear such nights. They held them sacred, for in that deep silence, human, beast, land, spirit, all held in a single moment of peace. So remember this peace as you journey into your own slumber tonight. May it be filled with ancient wisdom, with the lullabies of your ancestors, with the strength of the Northumbrian dark. May you wake feeling refreshed, renewed, ready to embrace the day ahead, with open arms and open eyes. Until next time, my friends, sleep well. And in the quiet of this new morning, something has shifted. For those who walked with the Vikings, these past 40 days have tasted a piece of their wisdom. We've risen gently, stretched slowly, greeted our dreams, napped when the sun climbed high. In short, we've approached sleep like an ancient friend, not a fleeting visitor. And as the final page of this journey turns, I want to ask you, how do you feel? Different, maybe. More attuned, more awake, more alive. If that's true, then we have succeeded in catching a flicker of the Viking spirit. You see, when the morning came to their world, it didn't pounce. It crept. No alarm bells, no flashing screens, just the pale silver of dawn leaking slowly into thatched beams. You might hear a rooster, or the first yawn of a cow rising stiffly from straw. A kettle lifted to heat water for herbal broth, a father's cough, a child murmuring in sleep, then turning over and tucking back in. The Norse rose gently. They knew there was time. The day would wait, and so they gave themselves a moment of sacred pause. Some would stretch, others offered a whispered thanks to the gods for safe passage through the night, for dreams remembered, for warmth endured, for heart unbroken. Let the morning be blessed. And in this hush, there was peace. You can find it again whenever you wish. Remember, this isn't goodbye. It's just a page turning. Do you feel that peace now? A sliver of it. Good. Now hold it close. Let it grow until it fills you. Imagine the long night is done. The sky is lightening. Birdsong stirs. You take a full breath in, letting the old night drift out. Stretch slowly. Fingers, palms, arms, shoulders, chest, legs, as birch trees do. With reverence, reach up, not to grab the sky, but to greet it, gently. Vikings were strong, yes, but their strength came from care, not conquest. Their bodies, like all living things, needed tending. Morning stiffness was eased with goose fat rubbed into joints. Muscles, chilled from fishing or hauling, were warmed by the hearth before rising. Even warriors woke and stretched like birch trees, slowly, reverently, as if honoring their own bark and sinew. And in doing so, they prevented injury. They prolonged strength. They gifted themselves dignity in movement. So let your own body stretch now, if it wishes. Like a pine uncurling after snowfall, slow, safe, and sacred. The Norsemen weren't afraid of naps. They welcomed them, especially after a morning of good work. They knew a sharp mind needs a quick rest. Naps helped clear the day's worries from their thoughts. Vikings were active, yes, but they balanced their busy days with moments of quiet. Fishermen who spent hours on the sea curled up to rest when they returned. Weavers laid back on benches near their looms. Even nobles took naps in shady spots. Children, too, were encouraged to rest when the midday sun climbed high. Napping wasn't just allowed, it was encouraged. It wasn't shameful, it was wise. Now, close your eyes. Can you feel the sun's warmth on your eyelids? Let its heat soothe you. Breathe in deeply, feeling the air fill your belly. And as you exhale, let all tension drift away. Drift with me to a field where tall grass whispers secrets to the wind. See butterflies dance among the blooms and feel the soft earth beneath you. In this peaceful place, your dreams take flight. Here, dreams aren't just stories of the night. They're messages from your sleeping soul. Dreams help you understand feelings you might have forgotten or ignored during your busy waking hours. They show you paths you had unconsidered and help you solve problems you might have thought were unsolvable. They connect you to your inner wisdom, which always knows what's best. Each morning, the Norse awoke with a bit of their dreams still clinging to them. They honored those dreams, whispering thanks for the guidance they held. Now, I invite you to do the same. Embrace the lingering echoes of your dreams, weaving their insights into your day. Consider the dreams you've had recently. Have you noticed any reoccurring themes or symbols? Maybe you've been flying, symbolizing your desire for freedom and exploration. Or perhaps you've been chased, hinting at unresolved fears or worries you need to address. Your dreams are speaking to you. Are you listening? As you move through your day, keep your senses open. When you see a butterfly fluttering past, pause and appreciate its beauty. When you smell fresh rain on the pavement, take a deep breath and feel the coolness fill you. When you hear a child's laughter, smile and let the joy touch your heart. When you taste a juicy strawberry, savor the sweetness and let the flavor dance on your tongue. When you feel the warm sun on your skin, close your eyes and bask in the comforting heat. Engage fully in each moment, embracing the richness of life. And when evening comes, before the darkness deepens, gather your loved ones close. Share stories and laughter, creating memories that will become cherished dreams in the future. As the night deepens, let a sense of peace wash over you. Feel the soft darkness cradling you like a protective blanket. Breathe deeply, allowing your thoughts to settle and drift. Surrender to the night's embrace and trust that you are held in the arms of the universe. Rest now and know that your dreams will carry you through the darkness and into the light of a brand new day. Chapter 39. The role of rest and strength. You might think Vikings only fought and pillaged, always restless and angry. But they found strength in rest, too. A warrior who couldn't sleep well, couldn't swing his axe with all his might. They knew that rest wasn't being lazy. It was getting ready. Their gods even took naps. After big fights, Odin slept under the branches of the great tree. Freya, the goddess of love, curled up in a feather bed when she got tired. The earth took breaks too, with seasons of winter sleep. To rest was like being in tune with nature. And being in tune helped you be brave and strong. Can you feel that strength growing inside you? Let it spread through your arms, legs, chest, face, fingertips. Imagine it flowing through you like a warm current. Hold this strength close. Know that you have it always. Don't be afraid to use it. Now is the time to make changes. Chase dreams, heal hurts. Chapter 40. The eternal quiet of snow. Long ago, in times colder than most, when snow fell endlessly and days were dark, the people of Vesterhume sought comfort in the quiet. Heavy snow, muffled sounds. Time seemed to slow down. Even breathing felt hushed. It was a season when going inward was the kindest thing you could do for yourself and others. Families snuggled together for warmth and stories. Snow transformed the world into a blanket of white, covering rough edges and silencing the clamoring world. Wrapped in snow, they found solace in the gentle rhythm of the falling flakes. Now close your eyes and picture yourself in a world blanketed in snow. Listen to the soft crunch beneath your boots as you walk. Feel the cold air on your cheeks, tingling like 1,000 tiny kisses. See the pristine white snow, sparkling in the dim light, transforming the ordinary into something magical. In this snowy haven, you are cocooned off from the noise and chaos of the outside world. Here, surrounded by the hush of falling snow, you discover a profound sense of calm. So ends our 40-day journey into the timeless ways of the Vikings. As we close this chapter, I invite you to reflect on the wisdom we've woven into our daily lives. From stretching like ancient birches to welcoming midday naps like loyal hounds, each practice is a thread in the tapestry of our well-being. Now, as you step back into the vibrant tapestry of your daily life, remember the essence of the Viking spirit that we've embraced. Carry the rituals that resonated with you, allowing them to become anchors in your journey towards holistic health in the grand tapestry of your life. May these threads of Viking wisdom shine brightly, reminding you that strength is born not just from steel and battle, but from the quiet reverence of the soul. A very long time ago, but only a few minutes from now, depending on where you sit, the sun began to dip toward the horizon. Sky bled orange, clouds blushed pink, and all the birds flew home to roost. Dusk settled across the land, and people prepared to meet the night. For the Norse who lived here long ago, night wasn't a menace. It was familiar. It was kin. Children were taught not to fear the dark, but to greet it. For night held stories. Night held quiet truths. Night was the place the gods spoke clearest. And so, when dusk spilled across the village, no one rushed to fill the silence. No one panicked at the setting sun. They welcomed it, like the arrival of an old friend. "Welcome," they whispered. "Welcome, night." Lanterns were lit slowly, doors gently shut, and a silence fell never heavy, never sharp, but velvet. So, let yourself welcome the night now, as they did. Not as something to endure, but something to be with. As darkness deepened, the longhouse stirred. Outside, shadows stretched long and lean. Inside, lives continued. Small fires burned steadily in great halls, casting dancing shadows on the walls, painting flickering patterns on faces bent over boards. Delicate laughter echoed like chimes. Old men with voices like sandpaper told tales of battles won and lost, of monsters slain, of heroes mourned. And young girls with eyes like starlight listened wide-eyed, clutching their dolls close, knowing in their bones that courage slept within them. There were no screens, no phones, no buzzing to drown out the dark. So conversation turned inward, turning inward. The only clock was instinct, the only guide, presence. This is what it meant to live among the long nights. And finally, the firelight dimmed. Yarn was folded. Carvings ceased. The sagas ended. It was time for sleep. But sleep didn't come crashing down like a sudden storm. It arrived like the falling snow, slowly, silently, wrapping the villagers in its quiet peace. Before sleep, there were rituals. Small ones, delicate as feathers. A girl brushing her father's beard while he hummed old sagas. A woman rubbing lavender oil into her mother's tired hands. A boy counting stars with his sister, naming each one after something he hoped for. And even the loneliest souls, those without kin, found ways to honor the night. They might whisper to a runestone, trace the moon's reflection in a cup of water, or hum softly to their own heartbeat. There were no clocks, just instincts, just presence. And sleep never had to be forced. It arrived naturally, drawn by these quiet closers. So consider your own small ritual, not for performance, but for peace. What might you offer to the night before you let go? In the stillness, when the longhouse slept, the land breathed. Wind sang through the cracks of walls. Fire sputtered stories in the hearth. Rain tapped a soft tattoo on the roof. And inside, the villagers dreamed. But it wasn't just any sleep. It was a deep, rich slumber. The kind where worries untethered, where thoughts took flight, where hearts soared with hopes and landed softly on prayers. Children dreamed of talking animals and candy skies. Lovers dreamed of whispered promises and hands intertwined. And the elders dreamed of the days ahead, of the sun's return, of the seeds they'd sown, and of the stories they'd tell. Each dream a feather on which their souls took flight. Each dream a lullaby that carried them through the darkest hours. Then, with the first blush of dawn, the dreams lifted, the slumber eased, and the villagers woke, refreshed, renewed, ready to face the day. And when the day ended, they knew they'd meet again in dreams, where the whispers of the night danced with the dawn, and the cradle of sleep awaited them like an old friend. For sleep wasn't just a necessity. It was a sanctuary, a shared experience that bound them together. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of nights, hope flickered like a candle flame, and that in the tapestry of life, every thread, every moment, every dream mattered. Now, the longhouse was more than wood and straw. It was a living cradle. Within its walls, sleep wove a communal spell. No one slept alone unless they chose to, and even then, they were never far from warmth. Mothers nursed infants close to the fire. Fathers curled protectively around hounds. Grandparents snored softly beside carved posts, their dreams full of fjords and first loves. Even strangers' guests passing through were given fur and fire. No one was left out in the cold unless they wished to speak with the stars, and the longhouse, it breathed. The wood creaked like a lullaby. The fire cracked, low and steady. The rafters held stories older than memory. So imagine now, you are curled inside such a house, the breath of others nearby, gentle and safe. A fur draped across your legs. The hush of belonging, all around you. Sleep comes easily when you are held. The Vikings, who lived so long ago, believed that dreams were unjust stories that played out during sleep. They were messages from the universe, whispers of wisdom, fragments of the future, echoes of the past. Each night before sleep, they'd share their dreams with those around them, weaving a tapestry of hopes, fears, visions, and prophecies. These weren't just idle tales, they were sacred inheritances, threads in the grand cloth of their lives. When a young girl dreamt of a bountiful harvest, the entire village rejoiced. When an elder saw a loved one in their dreams, they knew that even in death, bonds remained. When a warrior dreamt of victory, they carried that banner of hope into battle. Dreams weren't puzzles to solve or omens to fear. They were guides, teachers, companions. Each morning, the villagers would gather, sipping hot drinks, and talk about their dreams. Dreams of love, loss, adventure, caution. They laughed, they cried, they planned, they worried, they shared, and in sharing, they strengthened the fabric of their lives, making sense of the chaos of existence, one dream at a time. Their faith and dreams wove a community so tightly knit that no dream, whether joyous or sorrowful, was ever truly alone. And now, if you find yourself tossing and turning under the blanket of night, remembering those who came before you, who lived their lives and dreamt their dreams beneath the same sky, whispering to the stars as they did, seeking solace in the vastness of the cosmos, take heart. For in this timeless dance of day and night, of dreams and reality, you are connected to a lineage of storytellers whose whispers echo through the ages. Their dreams may be silent, yet their spirits sing through the tapestry of the stars, reminding you that you are never truly alone. For those who walked this earth so long ago, the boundaries between worlds were thin. They didn't see death as an ending, but as a doorway, a bridge between the seen and unseen. As the sun dipped below the horizon, they would light candles, not just to chase away the darkness, but to welcome the spirits that danced in the fading light. As darkness crept in, they'd tell stories of their ancestors, their voices echoing with pride and reverence. They'd share memories, laughter and tears, keeping the stories of their kin alive. Then, as the stars twinkled above, they'd pour out their hearts, whispering their hopes, fears, and dreams into the velvet void. They knew that in the quiet of night, the veil between worlds grew thin, and their words could travel beyond the stars, carrying their essence to those who had walked this earth before them. And in this communion of souls, they found comfort, strength, and connection, knowing that their ancestors were with them, guiding them, loving them, sharing their eternal wisdom. And now, if you feel the pull of those who have gone before, if you miss them, love them, honor them, seek them, whisper to the darkness, don't be afraid. For the darkness isn't empty, it's filled with the echoes of their laughter, the warmth of their smiles, the love in their eyes. If you listen closely, you can hear their whispers, carrying messages of hope, courage, and remembrance. You are never truly alone. Long ago, when the nights were long and the days were few, the Vikings would seek solace in the rhythm of the sea, waves crashing on the shore, the wind's mournful song. the cries of gulls wheeling overhead, these were their lullabies. They learned to read the tides, to understand the whispers of the wind, and to find comfort in the sea's eternal embrace. Fishermen would set sail at dawn, returning home as twilight painted the sky in hues of lavender and gold. They'd bring with them tales of the sea's moods, its fury and its calm, its generosity and its wrath. These stories weren't just adventures, they were warnings, they were reassurances, and as the villagers gathered around crackling fires, listening to the wind's lament and the waves' soft sighs, they found a strange sort of peace. The sea became their storyteller, chronicling the passage of time, weaving tales of distant lands, of storms weathered and fish caught, of lives lived and lessons learned. Each night before sleep, they'd share their hopes and fears with the sea, asking for guidance, strength, and protection, and the sea, in its ancient wisdom, would sigh back, rocking them to sleep with its timeless song. And now, if you find yourself yearning for the sea's embrace, if you miss the sound of waves on shore, the tang of salt, spray on your lips, the feel of sand between your toes, close your eyes and listen, for the sea is still singing, its melody echoing through time, carrying messages of love, loss, hope, and resilience. The sea's lullaby has been sung for millennia, and it's for you. Rest your head, dear one, and let the sea's song rock you to sleep. Chapter 49. Lanterns of the Sky. High above the village of Vesterholm, the aurora unfurled like a river of green silk. To the Norse, these lights were not mere beauty, they were lanterns hung along the sky road that spirits walked at night. When the curtains of color rippled overhead, families often stepped outside in silence, boots crunching on snow. They tilted their heads back, eyes wide, letting the shimmer wash over them. Children whispered, "Look, souls traveling home." Elders nodded. They said those souls drifted down in the hours just before sleep, brushing each dreamer's brow with light. So, on nights of bright aurora, sleepers reported gentler dreams, visions, bathed in green fire. Messages spoken in soft glows instead of words. Tonight, the sky burns just for you. Imagine its radiance trickling through the thatch, settling on your eyelids like warm moss. Feel how that glow cools every worry, hushes every thought, until your mind is as clear as a winter pond. Chapter 50. The Pillow Stone and the Willow Cup. Not every sleeper needed elaborate charms. Some placed a single pillow stone, a flat, river-smoothed pebble, kept cool outside the door beneath their bedding. Its steady weight against the neck reminded the body to release. Others sipped from a willow cup, a small cup carved from willow burl, filled with warm water steeped with crushed juniper berries. The slight bitterness grounded their senses. The warmth loosened joints and spirit alike. Sigrun taught her children a whisper to say after the last sip: "Stone for stillness, willow for flow. Guard my dreaming, quiet and slow." Then the cup was placed upside down on the hearthstone, symbol that the day was emptied. Perhaps you, too, can picture setting an unseen cup down now, signaling to your bones that nothing more is required. The stone of stillness cradles your head. The willow of flow eases your breath. Chapter 51. The Forest's Breath. Beyond the longhouse walls, the great evergreen forest exhaled resin-sweet air. At night, trunks popped in the frost, and the wind carried the scent of spruce tips and distant saltwater. Thyra, the shield maiden, believed the forest itself slept, its breath timed with the sway of treetops. She would stand just outside the door before bedding down, close her eyes, and match her inhale to the hush of needles, her exhale to the low moan of branches. In, the forest gathers strength. Out, the forest lets go. She brought that rhythm indoors, teaching even the restless how to weave their lungs with ancient timber. Try it now, slow pine-scented breaths, as though the forest breathes through you. In, your ribs spread like bows. Out, your thoughts drift like cones to mossy earth. Sleep grows in such soil. Chapter 52. The Story of the Swan Roadrainer. The saga-bearer once told a tale only at deepest midnight, when every soul sat drowsy but awake. "There is a road that begins in the heart of a dreamer," he said, "and ends where dawn first blushes. It is the Swan Road, made of moonlight, guarded by feathers. Those who walk it arrive rested, no matter their burdens. His voice grew softer. To find the Swan Road, you need only close your eyes and listen for water dripping from white wings. When you hear it, step forward. The road will appear beneath your feet, and every stride will lift a weight you didn't know you carried. After that night, many villagers swore they felt featherlight come morning. They spoke of dreaming a vast silver pathway across black water, lined with silent swans, whose eyes held stars. Tonight, imagine those wings unfolding around your shoulders. Feel how each downy plume cushions tension, lifting it away until your limbs float. The Swan Road waits one breath, and you're on it. Chapter 53. Firefly Night in Summerthow. Winter dominates Viking lore. Summers held their own sleepy magic. In late July, when twilight lingered past midnight, Glimfire teeny marsh fireflies farked across meadow grass. Children were allowed to stay up, wrapped in linen cloaks, watching sparks drift like living embers. They called them dream seeds. Catch one on the tip of a finger, whisper a wish, and set it free. The wish would bloom in that night's dreams. Sigrun's youngest wished to sail beyond the horizon. That night, he dreamed of a dragon-proud longship gliding across golden seas. And in the morning, he begged his father to teach him knots. Even adults cupped fireflies briefly, letting the faint glow spill through their fingers, as if previewing the light of coming dreams. Picture now a single firefly hovering before you, pulsing gently. With every pulse, your eyelids grow heavier, your heart beats slower, until the glow becomes a low, soft, dim, gone, leaving only rest. Chapter 54. The Gift of Letting Go. The End. What made Vikings sleep so deep was simple. They allowed it, allowed the day to end, allowed the body to unclench, allowed dreams to speak. Erling's final lesson to his children was always the same. He'd press a large bear fur over them, tuck the edges close, and murmur, "The world can wait. The fire will keep. Your breath is enough. Now let go." 3 little words. Now, let go. They were a key, turning silently in the lock of the mind, opening the vast, quiet halls of sleep, where all things mend. So, dearest listener, whisper it with me just in thought, if not in voice. Now, let go. Let go of the daylight clatter, the maps of tomorrow, the footprints of yesterday. Sink as a stone through still water, dropping into velvet darkness where nothing hurts, nothing hurries, nothing asks. Here, in the hush of Vestigum's boundless night, sleep enfolds you like softest fur. The hearth's last ember winks. The wind hums a cradle song. The aurora guards the rooftops. And you, drift. Thank you very much for listening. Do you have any feedback or suggestions? Leave them in the comments section below. See you next time. Every story must end someday, yet some linger still in the half-light between wakefulness and sleep. Our time in Vesterheim ends now, but our tales do not have to. You've shared this place for 44,000 words. 26 chapters, 3 parts, 13 nights. Together we have sailed the seas of sleep and woke to discover what ancient wisdom the Vikings left in embers of firelight and whispers of folklore. Yet we cannot stay in the past. Now the snow falls heavily, and all good journeys must end sometime. We thank all those who found solace in these stories, who sought comfort in Viking traditions and company, who dreamed alongside us under the Nordic sky. But we know it's time to go, to carry the warmth of hearth and hope of hearth back to our own lives. So we gather together for one last tale. After that, you may choose to visit Vestigum in your memories and revisit the friends you've made along the way. But tonight, we stay in the heart of the Longhouse. Adis, the hearthkeeper, sits in her usual place, watching the coals glow like a watchful spirit. Her wrinkled hands move with practiced grace as she tends the fire, not to feed it, but to cradle it, to listen to its heartbeat, to make sure it does not go out. It is nearly midnight, the hour when shadows grow longest and secrets find their voice. Yet there is no fear in Adis's heart, only a deep abiding love for all who dwell under this roof. And now, dear listener, we ask you to join us for one last conversation. For a moment, sit with us around the fire, share a final story, a last sip of spiced mead before leaving. We want to hear about your journey through Vestrik. Your time here is ending, but you carry the spirit of the North within you now. Perhaps you've learned something. Perhaps you've found a moment's peace. Maybe you feel stronger, ready to face the coming dawn. Whatever you take with you, we ask that you leave something. 2. A piece of yourself, a whisper of your story, a dream of where you've been. If you could leave a gift for future hearthkeepers to find, what would it be? Write it in the comments below. Do you have a favorite prayer, a Viking tradition you'd like to share, an experience of peace you'd like to leave behind? Share it with us now, as a gift for others who come after you. It may be that someone finds your words on a night like this, reading the same stories that brought you comfort. Or maybe a future hearthkeeper reads your words at another hour, when the sun hangs high in the endless summer days, or during the quick fleeting twilight of autumn. But no matter when your gift is found, it will become part of the shared blanket, the one that connects all sleepers, then and now. So tell us, what peace did you find in Vestrim? What strength have you gained? What stories touched your heart? And if you have a prayer or verse you hold dear, leave it now as a gift for the hearth. Who knows? Perhaps some lonely soul will read your words and find peace in them, just as you found peace here. And when you are done, when you turn away from the fire, walk carefully. The embers burn long after the flames have dwindled. Your path is clear, but do not linger on the way out. Let the door close softly behind you. The snow falls outside, muffling sound and shielding the world from prying eyes. Let the cold not chill you, for you carry the heat of the hearth in your belly, in your bones. The longhouse is timeless, but your journey is not. You have walked through many worlds in the past few weeks. Worlds of sleep and waking, of myth and history, of fear and hope. You are changed now, marked by magic. You carry stories untold in other times and places. Before you step out into the falling snow, look back at the longhouse, its windows dark and inviting. Listen to the murmur of voices within, the crackle of the hearth. Breathe deeply the scent of wood smoke and baking bread. Know that though the door is closing, the connection you made here remains. You are part of this community, even as you walk away. And always remember the teachings you have learned here. The soft shield of night, the unbroken blanket, the hearthkeeper's prayer, the dreamboats floating on silent rivers, the guiding light of stars. All these gifts are yours to keep. Now step into the snow. Its cold kisses your skin, but you are not afraid. You walk with purpose, with newfound strength, with peace in your heart. The snow crunches underfoot, the only sound in the vast stillness. Ahead, the forest waits. It offers sanctuary and whispers forgotten lore. Turn into it now. Let the trees welcome you. Let their roots hold you. Let their branches shelter you. In this quiet place, you are home. We've reached the end of our time in Vestrim, but your journey continues. Go now and live a life filled with kindness, courage, curiosity, and rest. May you find peace in the smallest moments. May you seek solace in nature. May you honor the earth and all its creatures. Be a beacon of warmth and generosity. Let your spirit roam free like a bird. Be bold, be curious, be kind. If you wish, return to the longhouse in your dreams. Seek out the friends you made here. Embrace the hearthkeeper's wisdom. Sail through the fjord of your mind. Watch the dreamboats on your window pane. Look for the unbroken blanket to wrap you in its embrace. Honor the earth, honor the ancestors, honor yourself, for you are part of something greater, and you are loved. As we part ways, remember, wherever you go, Vestrim will be here waiting, and you will always carry a piece of its magic within you. Stay cozy, everyone. May your dreams be filled with soft shields and guiding starlight, and may you always find comfort in the stories that bring us together. Sweet dreams.